Now, you and me both know how frustrating it can be to plateau in strength training. You're making heaps of progress, then all of a sudden, nothing. The way you used to move easily beforehand is now just an absolute nightmare, and the feeling is absolutely infuriating. Personally, I've experienced a phase of a full year where I completely plateaued on my weighted pull-up. Now let me repeat that. I had a full year of training during which my progress with weighted pull-ups halted to an absolute stop. In fact, I might have even gone down in strength during this period, all things considered. I mean, even saying that makes me low-key depressed. So in the hopes of saving your poor soul from plateauing, or in the case that you are in a plateau right now, I want to talk about exactly that topic in the video. How can you avoid plateaus, and if you're in one right now, what should you do to get the frick out? So to be fair, during this year of training where I made zero progress with my weighted pull-ups, there were a lot of things that happened that made it be that way. I was at some point dealing with some shoulder pain and some shoulder issues, and I was competing in jiu-jitsu for the first time in my life, and I did a few jiu-jitsu competitions. That took some time out of my schedule. But there was one big thing that I did wrong in terms of my training, and that thing was doing too big weight jumps. And that might be a bit sort of ironic coming from me, because I sort of preach doing big weight jumps, especially in street lifting for your weighted dips and weighted pull-ups, right? I'm a fan of the Russian method, which if you haven't seen the video on how to incorporate this into your own strength training journey, check out this card right here, right? And I'm a big fan of just sticking with the same weight for an extended period of time, then making a bigger weight increment, and then sort of undulating your training in this manner. But, as with most things to life, there is a balancing act. You see, if you do big weight jumps, that feels great because you're making a lot of progress, and if you can manage that weight, it is a lot of progress. But on the flip side of that, if you do too big weight jumps and you're not able to actually utilize that load and build strength with it, right? If it's too heavy for you to use it effectively, then you'll regress instead of progress, and that's what happened to me. So what I would recommend is that you fine-tune this balance between doing big weight jumps that give you a lot of progress and that take you further and give you these significant markers of, okay, I've made a lot of progress, I've been able to move up in weight by 10 kilo or 7 kilo or 5 kilo, but like these more considerable jumps. You want to balance this aspect with doing smaller weight jumps that lead to more consistent upgrades in weight. So instead of adding 10 kilograms or 7.5 every single time you progress with weighted pull-ups or weighted dips, I would recommend slowly but surely, once you've trained with a particular movement for a longer period of time, once you've done the weighted dips for a few blocks, right, or the weighted pull-ups for a few cycles, once you've done a few weight jumps, you want to start reducing them. Because otherwise what's going to happen is that each and every cycle is going to take a longer and longer time to complete. That's just how it goes. Either the weight jump slowly but surely gets smaller, or it's going to take a longer and longer and longer for you to get good at the weight you're using, and for you to get that good at that weight that you can upgrade with 10 kilo or something similar. So what I like to tell my clients, and what I have as a rule for myself, is that the weight jump I'm doing right now, it's not for progress right now. This weight jump is all about facilitating the best possible weight jump next block around, or even the best possible weight jump for the block after that again, right? So you want to think ahead in terms of what happens in the next cycle and the cycle after that. If you can do so, you'll gain a lot more strength in the long run if you can consistently do 5 and 2.5 kg increments, as opposed to doing a master block and then trying to do 10 kilo, a master block, then trying to do 10 kilos. So consistency is the key, right? And as with most things, it's this balancing act. And if you feel like this is quite the slow man's game and you're feeling impatient, this quote I really love comes quite in handy, and I feel like it's tied quite closely in with this. As a slowly is the fastest way to get to where you want to be. And also this sort of connects in my mind to the slow way is the fast way, because the fast way never gets you there. And that's exactly what I feel is applicable with this balancing act between weight jumps. If you do too big weight jumps, you never end up making it far, because you're not able to utilize that weight appropriately and gain strength gradually and steadily as you improve. But also if you do too small weight jumps, right, like that might take absolute ages. So it's fine-tuning this balancing act, going slowly but going consistently and keeping it up for months and months at a time. By the way, if you're spinning your wheels, spending countless of hours in the gym each week, but making little to no progress, or at least way less than you think you have the potential for, click the link in the description down below and you can sign up to my free email newsletter where I share daily tips for how you can make your strength training sessions more effective. Also, if you're truly committed and want to learn a ton and improve your strength, not to mention your performance in a sport that you do adjacent to the gym, possibly climbing, bouldering, grappling, Muay Thai, anything of this nature, I'd recommend that you check out the second link in the description down below, where you can explore my page for one-to-one coaching. Here you also get the chance to book a zero commitment one-to-one coaching call directly with me. This is a great way for us to get to know each other in the case that you want to explore one-to-one coaching further. But regardless, it's a nice time for us to connect and for me to give you some tips straight off the bat. Again, zero commitment, completely free. If all you want is just to chat and you want to see if I have some tips to improve your training program, show up, let's talk, let's have fun, and let's see how we can improve your current training. So the big takeaway from this video is that you need to balance your weight jumps. On the one side, you want to have them be big and monstrous, so you have a lot of progress to sort of show for, right, after weeks or months of training. At the same time, on the flip side of this, you want to make sure your weight jumps are rather small and they're quite petite, quite sustainable in the sense that you can keep them coming every 2 to 3 months, and in this way keep consistency going in the long run. With that said, if you feel as though you're struggling to make the most out of your workout, but you're not plateauing per se, you might be making one of the biggest mistakes in street lifting, calisthenics, and strength training more widely. So if this sounds like you, I recommend checking out this video right here so you can get the most bang for your buck from your workouts.